Today we are still playing Neoform because that deck has enchanted me. And I enjoyed my time playing it. Since yesterday I have dropped the Glittering Wish package just for Neoform for Eldritch Evolution main deck for Ritual. Only 8 ways to find Rider, which is a bit on the lower side, but I think it's gonna be fine. And indeed, this hand is fine. We can lead on a Meticulous Archive and turn to Ritual Rider. I can surveil and find an actual Neoform, so that's nice. I can also find any green card, then I get to keep Atraxa in my hand, which is useful for if I evolve into a Galta. Or a graveyard? Because it is not a Neoform, and I think drawing a Neoform is actually useful, while like drawing just a normal green card is... So there's some merit to keeping the Allosaurus Rider, and then maybe... Alright, I guess I drew it anyways. Let's pass. Are we on Xenagos? I am not playing Xenagos, no. Playing Xenagos makes sense if you play Pacts, I think. It makes more sense if you play Pacts. Not as much if you don't. I drew another land, which is, I guess, a bit bad. Because I could have maybe kept an Allosaurus Rider in my hand, but... As is, I'm keeping the Atraxa. No change since yesterday. Oh no, I did change the deck a bit. You can also thin the deck by fetching a breeding pool. Just maybe bad to thin. Because if I hit an orange Chant, I can cast it. Atraxa Grand Unifier. We grab Call, Neoform, Forest, Chancellor. Do I want any other monster over Chancellor in my hand? I probably will use that monster as a bitch fodder, so I think I'm actually fine. Too bad I did not find a Boseiju, because then if they Boseiju Atraxa, I can just free Atraxa. Kupka will set us all free. Kupka's name is incredible. But yeah, there is various variants of the Neoform deck coming around. We will inspect maybe the various differences later. Upon paying costs. Leyline Bonding, okay. Unsurprisingly. Nishoba Brawler, that's the... Yeah, that's the shit. So I'll call for a Rider. It's my last Rider, by the way. I surveilled 2, right? I think we put Gauta into play. Which puts Atraxa into play, which then we can evolve one of our monsters into something. Seems like it was convincing enough for my opponent to concede. Now, what do we need to beat out of a zoo deck? Nishoba Brawler, I guess, is the answer. It's kind of crazy to me that people play 5-3 trample. Maybe it's not that wild, but... No Borboric Moss. We're playing 2 Orim's Chant, which is basically the same card. So beating Leyline Binding and, more importantly, Stubborn Denial, a bit challenging. Ureni protection from their deck with Guild Pact in play, that's funny. Seems like the most important thing I will have to beat is counters. Is there a way to have mana after combo for Chant? Play a land. Like, you need an extra mana to play the Chant, yeah. You can play a land on every single one of your turns. But also, there isn't really the combo in the deck. Not quite. There are combos, but there isn't really the combo. I think I'll cut Terastodon and I'll add a Boseiju and probably just 4 Veil of Summer. I think Orim's Chant unnecessary. And we are going to face counter magic. We're going to have to face adversity on the stack. Force of Vigor, excellent question. I think I'll cut 1 Chancellor and I'll submit. 4 Veils against my opponent's 4 counter spells is maybe a bit many, but it's good. We don't have the Rider, which is the piece I have fewer copies of. But I have a Surveil land, so odds that I find it are pretty high. Right? Wow, no Allosaurus to pitch. Very crazy. It's a bit bad not to have an Allosaurus. They're always a bit rough with hands like this. Do you keep? Do you mulligan? I keep. Or rather, I kept. Well, it was actually an easy hand to make a decision for. An extremely easy hand. Dawaj, Nishowa Brawler or Kavu. Oh no. So I think I can play Ritual, but I will not play a Rider. No Stab. Tear. Sure. I mean, so the Rider dies to what exactly, right? It dies to Binding. Or they could consign the Ritual and burn the Rider. If it gets binded, that's fine, I can just find Boseiju later. If it gets consigned, then I also still need to kill it. This seems alright to summon the Rider into 3 mana. Oops, I could Surveil, but I guess I didn't. They Surveil. Kavu to the graveyard. Let's not Surveil. It increases my odds pretty slim, and I might actually benefit from the Surveil. Yeah. If you fetch, they could bolt in response. Sure. That's fair, but also, yeah, I guess that's fair. Canister wins the match. Alright, consign to memory. Solid card. Doesn't really do much against my deck. It stops the Ritual. That's kinda it. Wow, very good deck. Yes, very good indeed. Yeah. So Eric is a Storm gamer. Where did Pogging go? It was never there. 7 TV. Let's see. Oh, they have a link to the emote. O ty kurwa. I guess we die on turn 1. Yeah, I drew Neoform. Do I just Terastodon, 2 lands? The issue with Preordain is that on turn 1 you can just Surveil and it's almost the same. Opponent flip 2 lands with their Impulse. What do they exile? Another Reckless Impulse. Like if I die it's gonna be a shame. I could get Terastodon, and then next turn I can Ritual and try to find something else. Or I can just grab Griselbrand and then next turn I'll have a Orim's Chant in my hand. But opponent will have another turn to of safety. I think Terastodon seems actually alright. A 10-10 Terastodon. So I attack with the 10-10 Terastodon. And I try to evolve it into something useful. Would be better had I hit a land, but I did not. Well, I guess. 2 damage to your elephant. Let's fucking go. Ureni continues to Giga Impress. When casting a Ren's Resolve. Well, it sure does resolve. Oh no. Ritual MVP. If I only had gone for Griselbrand on the first turn, then this game would have been over. But now opponent has a window to go Ral Ritual and win, as I'm holding nothing and I hit nothing. So it's certainly an interesting game scenario, but also I guess a bit rough. Two rituals. Cool. There's a chance they'll die to the flips, though. Only 5 more life points. I don't think I've ever seen a Storm opponent die to flips against me. I rarely play decks that pressure the life total to that extent. But also Janara 19 and Phoenix Flamerino, thank you guys for the subs. Won the flip, ty kurwa lakerze, no. Come on, lose 5 now. Won the flip. No nie, nie mogę. Wish Ritual. Yes, it seems like it was a bad Terastodon spot after all. Got pretty unlucky, but perhaps I could have not gotten unlucky. Maybe opponent breaks, yeah. That would be the hope. Ureni, get out of the deck. Orim's Chant, get into the deck. Solitude and Force of Negation? I don't think so. Time to tribute someone Ruriktar, honestly. I wish I could. I think we'll bring Endurance. You don't understand the Unami. Many don't, like, but I don't know what's there not to understand. It's 10-10 Dragon. That's just it. I think interaction for the reducer seems a bit rough. Although Force of Negation seems alright to have because it's free. think Mandrills is unlikely to matter. I think I'll trim my Boseiju, honestly. And then I will submit. We are lacking a rider. Actually, we don't. See, turn 4 as is. I mean, it seems alright. Archetype of Endurance would protect me from Solitude spam. Gemstone Caverns up on mulliganing to 6. Exiles a mountain. Chancellor. Not quite on time. I guess it wouldn't really be useful game 1. Turn 1 anyways with tap lands, so that's fine. Ay ay ay. Alright, opponent on 4 cards. Do you think they will just snap cast a ritual? Rents resolve. It truly does. Funny that we just played against a Storm Gamer in the league and it was the easiest match ever played, and then we instantly queue into Eric 1-5-7-7-5-1 and it's a enormous struggle. That's how it is. Sometimes you struggle and sometimes you don't. I cast Ritual. Alright, 2 cards left in hand. Rents Resolve, it sure does. Kinda weird not to just cast Resolve first, isn't it? I did have turn 2 kills and I did draw Pact to do that, so I guess Pact does increase the amount of turn 2 kills. Two cards left in hand. Strike it rich. Flip Ralta up to 7. That's a bit scary. Because it does mean that my opponent gets to exile the top 8 cards of their deck and summon them. Which, yeah, I guess I pass. Pass in Flames, Orim's Chant Ritual. Could be worse. I mean, they still have a Pass in Flames for draw 5. Oh, well, no, fuck, I messed up. I should get an Endurance and shuffle their graveyard. What have I done? Kurwa. No nie. I did not think I forgot I had that option. When will the Amulet gaming continue? That's a good question, but probably soon. I was thinking of playing the challenge today with Amulet because while Neoform is extremely engaging, I've been missing Amuleting. But yeah, I should have absolutely Enduranced and then I guess die because I would never draw Rider, but what about energy in the challenge? Yeah. How about some energy? I missed that part. Why no Endurance? Because I fucked up. Yeah, the Boros Energy Modern Challenge streaming market is absolutely oversaturated by Ginger. It's too much already what he puts out, so would be no use to fight against that. Just House of Mana. It does seem like Storm is just broken though and always wins, especially when you don't Endurance their graveyard, but occasionally they win even if you do. Dobra. Już tam się nie sap z tym grapeshotem z grobowca, bo nie mam czasu na ciebie. So this hand would enjoy a Glittering Wish, wouldn't it? Still, wishing for Rider is not pleasant. Well, it's not so bad either, but it's not too pleasant. But it's a hard hand. Do you keep or do you mulligan? Will you hit a Rider? The Chancellor mana is useless. I could play a turn 1 Birthing Ritual, but there is actually no benefit to doing that. Let's look for something better. This is a 6, so I'll keep 2 chance. And I will look for one of my 12 evolutions. What's the least cringe Pauper deck? It's Pauper. Well, actually, it might not exist. Six Land Spy. I guess that's true. Now, 7 Land Spy is the actual shit. Why are there 6? Because 6, 8, 7. I think it was 5 Land Spy at first, but 6 Land Spy plays a Mountain and Chrysalis in the main deck. To have a backup plan to backdoor into victories. It's not clear whether I should play it or not, the Garden of Freyalise, but we'll see. Alright, I have an idea what you can do about what you can do in Neoform to play less consigns. Are you ready, chat? Are you ready for my idea? To trim down on consigns, you simply have to play Nourishing Shoals. So your Griselbrand draws more cards on average. And that way you have more green cards in your deck. Thoughts? No thoughts from chat, by the way. I'll just pass. That would mean we are reverting further and further back into actual Neoform from the past. Which would prove that history is a circle. Alright, chat, Neoform. Off the top one time. I concede. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Ritual wouldn't even hit, so. Well. We don't have much of a plan to beat Orim's Chant out of energy. Guess Endurance and just Terastodon for being green. Could have a Solitude. That doesn't feel particularly impactful. This seems alright. We can use the Chancellor to find an evolution. Or rather, to cast Eladamri's Call to find a rider and then next turn play Genesis to find an evolution. How goes the special summonings? Not so well today. I think by taking out the wishes out of this variant, I kinda made it worse. And by kinda, I mean I just made it worse. So now we have to work again to make it better again. Bombardment, that's your turn to play. That's a crazy move. Bombardment. You really like Bobber. Boober kurwa. Alright, Orim's Chant, dodging. Wow, true Neoform anyway, so that's even better. Come on, bro. I want to draw my 10 cards. 4 from Atraxa and 6 from Disciple of Freyalise. I love that this deck is just Hyper Genesis turn 2. That's exactly like Hyper Genesis would be. Frankly, right? Funnily. Maybe they should just print a pact, but you don't have to pay. I'm thinking. What if they would do that? But you need to exile a blue card from hand and pay 1 life. Thoughts? That sounds OP. So my hand doesn't have an evolution and needs to call for a rider. I think we can do better. This hand draws a land and wins. Clench. Seems rather risky. Oh, sure, but also seems like... It seems better than moving to 5, honestly, like by a good amount. Like, I think it is actually competitively a good keep, but, you know, also sometimes life doesn't go the way you would like it to go. Boseiju who? No dupa. They should make a card that costs 0 and says win the game. Sure, but it would say whenever you win the game, gain 2 life. So the effect would be absolutely useless in practice. It would cost 0 though. No, I did not forget to put lands into my deck. I did forget to put them into my hand. Would be tier 0 if it was a legendary artifact dragon. True. Alright, it is over. Maybe I should just be playing the Sweeper's main deck. What is a Prelim compared to Challenge? Prelim is fixed at 4 rounds and its main purpose is to grant you qualifier points, which you can then use to play and showcase challenges and qualifier RCQs, basically, online. And can let you get to the mocks. You might ask, what is the mocks? And I'll say, well, it's a nice tournament you can get to play. Good draw, by the way. Planar Genesis does what it does best. Also, Montano, thank you very much for the sub. How is the Self-Eshek Mono Black Nendergoy Eldrazi matchup? Probably really bad, but I haven't really looked at the deck too closely. Prelims are tournaments where you play against energy, while challenges are tournaments where you play against energy. Well, holy shit, maybe it's Ureni. Is it Ureni time? Like, what is my opponent gonna do? Well, is it better than Galta Atraxa? Ureni is the Mr. Beast of this deck. Yeah, let's go Ureni. 11-11 Ureni. Not even a 10-10. What if I evolve Ureni even further? You had a board state in the Neoform mirror where your Ureni was 10-10 and theirs was 11-11. You had no out. Why is there no outs to that situation? Oh, because you can't double block, because Atraxa is white and black, so it's doubly protected from. I see. Sounds like a terrible problem to have. I have 6. I would like to play my lands, or at least summon the Rider. But I guess if I have 6, I have 6, that's fine. Why isn't Boros playing Cory Steelcutter if Cory Steelcutter is so good, by the way? Doesn't draw cards. Makes sense. Plays 3 mana cards. Makes sense. Plays 20 creatures. Makes sense. Alright, makes a lot of sense if you think about it for at least a second. Hi Canister, I am glad you are streaming because I like to watch your stream. Holy shit, thank you. Are you named Armada 08 because you were born in 2008 though? That would be crazy to learn. Seems like a fine hand. You are happy Boros is there for the free wins as best deck, but it's like Murktide, pretty repetitive, fair. Kinda wild that Boros just loses to every combo deck, but then it's the most popular and best, and everybody plays it. Maybe it actually doesn't lose. Maybe it actually wins. Nah, no way. A Johnny nakadl parchaty, no, zaśmierdły. 2 mana creature with a 5 mana planeswalker on its backside. This is not a Allosaurus Rider, which is probably the only draw that makes me happy here. They do have access to Orims and Deafening Silence. Well, so currently we're only worried about Orim's Chant, which frankly doesn't do that much. I can just Neoform the turn after. Eladamri is calling. Yeah, Deafening Silence is not particularly great. It's only good against Pact, really. Oi, what kurwa. See, chat, that's a pretty big downside of playing Planar Genesis. It's a pretty damn big downside. Because it costs blue-green, so you just click on it instead, and then you're fucked. Kurwa, no, ja pierdolę. I'll have to hit a rider again. All right. Well earned victory, Dragunov. All I can say. Jeden, dwa, trzy, cztery, pięć, sześć, siedem. I will concede because I have mentally been defeated. Cyborg out Genesis. No, I'll pay attention next time. Thank you. Let's hope that my first draw step doesn't yield a Planar Genesis. That would truly be a shame. Nimble Pilferer. Bro, this must be a bit demoralizing when you play Nimble Pilferer and then that's all you ever do. First, I will kill your Ragavan. Second, you'll shuffle it onto the bottom of your deck, bro. Not sure how energy is adapting to this deck. They can play Containment Priest. That's yeah, Graft Grescation Containment Priest. So we 2-2'd. Good results.